Council full committee meeting for November 26, 2024 to order at 7:01 p.m. All members of the council are present. All members of the administration are present except for the mayor, who is absent and excused. If there's anyone reporting this meeting courtesy to the public, then please identify yourselves. So your fellow attendees know that they're being recorded. Seeing none, the city of Eastland is recording this meeting. Under legislation proposed, legislation number 11-26-01, a resolution certifying that there are unpaid bills owed to the city of East Lake and authorizing and directing the county auditor to pay these bills on the tax duplicate for collection of payment and declaring an emergency. Commissioner?
Thank you. This is housekeeping. We do this about this time of year in order to make sure that we can duplicate. We send these people several letters, and we wait past 90 days before we run the list.
Any questions for the finance director? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 11-26-02, an ordinance to reappropriate for the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency. Commissioner?
Thank you. This is for the Shoreline Improvement District, and we received $7,368.06 more than I had anticipated. But because that's not our money, it must be sent back to the organization that is handling the bid. We would need to return $7,368.06. That was not in money, so I'm asking that you approve such change.
Any questions for the finance director? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 11-26-03, resolution approving updated solid waste management plan of the Lake County Solid Waste Management District and declaring an emergency. All right. Kevin? What is that?
Solid waste management plan of the Lake County Solid Waste Management District.
Sounds good.
Looks like that. Yeah, but I don't know what it is.
Seeing the actual plan, I didn't know if you knew legislation.
Is it time sensitive?
Sorry?
Is it time sensitive? So we can roll this to the agenda and address it next meeting. Okay. All right. Legislation number 11-26-04, an ordinance amending chapter 155, employment provisions and compensation of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake to read as such and declaring an emergency. Mr. Rupp?
Thank you. This went through the committee, and it is to change the scale for being able to employ people in the 155 area.
I believe we discussed it in the committee. Does anyone have any further questions? Thank you, Ms. Shuka. We'll move on to legislation number 11-26-05, an ordinance amending section 121.04, business development coordinator of codified ordinances of the city of East Lake, Ohio, to read as such and declaring an emergency. Ms. Shuka?
Thank you again. This was discussed in committee, and business development coordinator is really the economic development coordinator, and so there were some changes made in that section to more accurately reflect what the status is of today's city.
Any questions for the finance director? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 11-26-06, an ordinance amending section 770.11, operational requirements for marijuana dispensaries and codified ordinances of the city of East Lake, Ohio, to read as such and declare an emergency. Go ahead.
This is one that Judy and I worked really hard on. I took her version and I tried to incorporate what I thought were some of the concerns from the community. So I did exchange some emails, so I'm not sure if they hit on everybody's point. So I know the one you have is the one that I revised. You still have to do, it's not on the agenda for that. But when I reviewed further this afternoon or later this afternoon, I realized that subsection B should reference subsection I, so if we were deciding for that, we all decide on what that change. If that subject would be subscribed to, drive-in and drive-through sales should not be permitted except as provided in subsection I, or subsection H, it should be subsection I, which addresses the drive-through. Yeah. So I try to address the square footage along the roadway as opposed to as the crow flies, some stuff, I think we have something on parks at 200 square feet for parking that Judy has 5,000 square feet. I think there's something, the pre-order pickup scenario, that's the driver or something. So there'll be a lot of interactive with the pre-order, resale times as well.
You changed the distance requirement from, to
Yeah,
1,000 feet, I believe.
when Judy worked on hers, she changed it to, I think she changed it 5,000 to 500 and 200 square feet and 100 square feet for parking purposes. You should have that version that she had highway, and I tried to answer hers, something like stuff.
No, I was referencing the distance from playground to the church's right.
That's incorporated in a prior, a different section.
Right, we did amend that.
Yeah, that's not here, I did send you a proposed change, I think would be G in, section 770.08, where we talk about business, school, and church. So I sent that, proposal that you want to address that, and then change that in that section. The schools and churches are independent.
We can go back and amend that. Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Yes.
I think we have to make sure what the measurement is.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. When I have to judge if someone can go somewhere,
Right.
I have to be clear that what measurement we're using.
I added to both 770.11 I, the provision that for purposes of this section, the distance shall be measured along the street line, or at least along the street line of the lot, in case of zero lot of lot, and in case of the corner lot of lot, the line is broader than the fourth street. That's essentially replicated what I proposed to the school and church park. So that it shouldn't be the best one, but it was, I replicated one.
So it's fine as it is, we can just go ahead and amend the distance.
And this is 770.11, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
If you want to go to school, that's in president, zero. It is that.
Yeah, we can amend that. Okay.
Randy, could I throw a little common sense thought into this?
Well, if you have.
If they don't meet the standards that the state requires, they won't be permitted.
Well, yeah, we don't do it from in here.
That's what I mean.
Right.
So it's kind of a moot point.
If they're required to, if you're saying that we don't get a permit that's by space, yeah.
Yeah, there was concern about the distance from the state.
Between the school, to the school.
Right, or the playground.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, they wouldn't get the permit from the state.
I would say. I don't know if
Just a
there's,
thought.
I don't know if there's variance.
All right.
Sure.
With those changes, just want to confirm, you were kind of told that if it's potential to be one or combined streets because it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to be, extra cautious and not to make it sound like we're asking legislation that ever given any particular potential
So we can
provision
limit.
a heads up. But the math does work out, it's just the way Eastlake is, we don't have that much square footage on Vine Street, so it's not meant to favor any particular business. As far as the people we got Vine Street.
Anyone else?
Yeah, so the way that you reworded it took care of the issue with applicable applies to the church behind the plot, Lynn.
My provision does doesn't address churches and schools, so that's a whole different section.
In the OA, I think,
In the whole, so we
Okay.
would have to address that one.
separately.
Right.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, it wasn't presented, it was never presented in Judy's change, it came up in the committee meeting, so that we would have to address in 77008, and we can have some like.
But I would go, when I'm judging that, I would go back home and make sure
Right.
the school things all in fact in the parks.
Right, right.
The language is in there, I could read what we have in the proposed 77008 process.
Yeah, if you could just sort, I personally, I prefer, you know, all of it done at once, instead of passing part of it and then looking at OA provisions and then trying to go back and,
There's separate ordinances.
but we're possibly going to be changing OA, I would prefer
Right.
to, you know what I mean?
They are separate.
Ideally, as you say, we have a whole list of 77008.
Right.
And I don't know why we have those separate.
I don't know either.
But it would wind up being 27 either way.
Right.
We can make it work. I mean, it's very similar to adult entertainment, what we used to have for the internet cafes. We had a license supervision of everything you had to do to get your license. But we also had location provisions of what buildings can do, what you can do that. Sometimes those two kind of overlap. I'll hold it together.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Me.
Ms. Grant?
So the state requirement for playground, church, or school is 500 feet. And the way they measure now is from the edge of the parcel to the edge of the building as opposed to parcel to parcel. So whoever goes in any of the two buildings that have been under discussion with separate entities, they're fine with either way. If they get a license, they can go in the way it is, to the 500 feet. It was at one time 1,500 feet with a different measurement, and it's not that way anymore.
So I'll double check that, because ours is 1,000 feet from the school playground, or 500 feet from the church. So I'm here to look at that.
500 feet from a playground as well now, for the state.
Yeah, I'll double check that, ours is 1,500, but I think it's measured the same way as it was previously. But I'll forward it to you guys.
Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? Good. All right, council, open meeting is adjourned at 7:14 p.m. Call the regular council meeting November 26, 2024, to order at 7:42 p.m. Mr. Christmas, please give us the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll. Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting November 26, 2024?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Will clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion is carried, the agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting November 12, 2024?
So moved.
Is there a second? Will clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. We also did, some pending minutes for the last couple of finance committee meetings, boards, committee meetings, and probably the next meeting, so. Our next scheduled council of open meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, at 7 p.m. Immediately with the regular council meeting, immediately following the adjournment of the council of open meeting. Mr. Kelly, do we have a motion?
Yes, Mr. President. I move that we reschedule the regularly scheduled meeting of December 24th, 2024, to instead take place on December 17th, 2024, at 7 p.m.
Is there a second? Will clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion is carried. Move on to the legal vote. Go ahead. pulled out the marker buoys that didn't pull out, so noted that the river's about 2 to 3 feet or more shallower than it normally is. Also, some lease broke the right drainage box, and we're expanding it, and we're working on fixing that as well. We did have 3 people, concerns are up, 2 people before and were around to come back. John Farwell is undecided at the moment, and any questions, Mr. Sutter?
So I know that there is a resident over there that agrees to the camera, but I mean, we know that so we can ask, or maybe just do that. So, maybe it's more time to put in line, whatever you call your computer.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay, because that's on the long term, those are the big ones.
Any other questions?
I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
So you said you have 3 openings?
There's 3 terms that are up. Need for the treasurer, he's coming back, or now he's coming back, and then, John Farwell is getting out. Down to the mayor will put it. I have the 2 council. So I'm sure they can do something that will approve. Very good. And then we also had the ordinance committee meeting, this is something. Any questions for Mr. Stone? All right, very good. Seeing none, we will move on to recognition of the public. Floor is now open for recognition of the public. Line speakers, all remarks will be directed to the chair. If not, we call personally, we're limited to 3 minutes per person, 30 minutes total. We have a number of people signed up to speak. Our first person that signed up is Lisa Bass.
We have a speaker.
Okay.
All the people that signed up for the
Yeah,
dog.
you have the same. Yeah. You can please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Dan Gleason Broad on 354th Street. I'm here to represent the patrons of the East Lake Dog Park. So a fellow patron of ours who could not make it tonight, was in contact with the building inspector, about a temporary shelter, a temporary garage that we put up, on the grounds of the park for shelter from the weather over the winter. Initially, it sounded like there weren't any, late, but from what I understand, there was initially no issue with it, so we put up the shelter, and that there has since been expressed concerns from, I believe, the mayor and the attorney about the shelter itself. We were hoping to address any concerns that might get in the way of us, keeping temporary shelter over the winter. Thank you.
You know, I know it came up at a recent, direct meeting we had every week, so I can't say who raised the issue, or I can't really remember, but it's just certainly not anything that our ordinances allow. Anybody that's to have an accessory structure is only forbidden on property with main structures, generally speaking, and they can speak to the ordinance with regards to that. We also have ordinances with regards to having tenants and any that camping and that type of stuff has to be separated by permit. And it's admirable as it is, I think everybody in the room could also understand how it can get out of hand real quick. You can imagine all kinds of other people wanting to put up their own tents on parks when they think they could use it, or I don't know if this is considered a set of garage, but I think it's something that's like a car. Maybe, in which case,
Yeah, that's intentional.
in which case, respectfully, in my mind, it's a little more inappropriate to have it. It's just not something we really ever allowed, and I wouldn't approve it as part of the water, going around with it, sure. I don't think it's appropriate to have temporary structure.
So, I guess, given how important the dog park is to the residents of East Lake, I guess we were hoping for an exception or an allowance for temporary
removal through the winter, so we can take advantage of it as a shelter. I mean, I understand that it's behind the police department and fire, station, the third most used public place in East Lake. We're there all the time, and there are people there from 5 in the morning to, after sunset at this point. And
One thing I can tell you is, I lost my dog this summer, so there's no bigger dog lovers than me, and I feel terrible.
I wouldn't
Were
allow.
you a frequenter of the dog park?
No, I thought I was, but, I certainly could defer to Mr. Bennett if he has any ideas on how to allow it, as it stands right now. I would approve of it. I have to find another way to make it acceptable. I can't have it.
Believe what was said is that it was submitted to us, but I was not the one that can make the decision. That's why when we had a directors meeting, I brought it up, because it's not my decision to be able to put it there. So I never approved it.
Oh, and we're not saying you did.
Yeah,
Well, I just want to be clear on that.
understood. Again, given the type of shelter that it is, the type of the insurance or anything like that, that I could put up on my property, and going to make sure that it's stable and safe would be certainly done. Why not allow one? There isn't any other shelter, at the park. We don't have lights, we don't even have running water yet anymore. We're trying to make the best of it,
Simply beyond my role as the law director, if there was instruction that somebody wanted, it would have to be, we have to come up with a way to fund the building of that structure. I mean, of course, it's expensive. I would imagine if there was a crowdfunding project and there were funds available for something that maybe the city participated in along with the residents to make it work, I could imagine that would be a creative way of doing it.
That's essentially what we've done so far. I mean, if the city does want to contribute, we'd be happy to, but it's been private so far.
I would approve it. People that request for permission to put accessory structures on their property, do it on their property. That's what the ordinance is contemplating, because the building inspector has to have the ability to come out and apply ordinances to temporary structures in relation to the other structures on the property. We just don't typically allow accessory structures. I'm not even sure that our ordinances would allow that if you had at your house. I'm not even sure we would allow temporary tent-style parking garage. It's not something that's come up. As it is right now, I would imagine that's going to be the plan that it happens from time to time. If that's something that we would encourage, it would probably just be shutting them down as incrementally as best we can. I can't prove that. I can't find a legal reason it's permitted on the city park. I know it's a thing that
You can't find a reason that it would be permitted?
I don't find any ordinances that allow residents to put up tents on the park.
Is there something directly contradicting now that it's there? Would you say removal of it?
I don't want to argue, I never want to argue with residents, so please understand, the answer to that question is almost built into the question. It's not that it's the city's problem. That's why. Okay. Just like you can't put a tent up on it.
Randy, it's to clarify, the property does not belong to the city.
Well, that's not.
It's CDI's property. We don't own it, so we can't really prove it anyway.
The problem, I go,
So if it's their property, you can ask them to take it down.
We didn't put it up, you put it up.
No, so in that case, we wouldn't have to worry about any municipal action to remove the shelter.
we have a lot of problems. From time to time, we'll have properties that we lease from other agencies with the express permission to, if there is to be a certain type of product. I would have to look at whatever the lease agreement is, and usually defer to the city to manage whatever the park is. So, I would imagine it's that type of situation.
Okay.
So I know it's not what you want to hear, but.
My understanding is you have that with the mayor, correct? Or you reached out to the mayor, correct?
Reached out to whether he's had a conversation with me or not.
Okay. I mean, he's away, my suggestion would be that once he is back, and maybe a second meeting, perhaps you can work towards, he was involved, without with the tech structure.
He was included, he was aware of the situation, and his answer was to take it down.
Okay.
So,
I think part of the discussion, too, just to open it up, I think permit structure think that, you know, if we really want to have legitimate conversations about this, the end goal should be putting up some type of a permanent like pavilion or something like that. I think that would be the ultimate that would appease everybody. I think. And to be quite honest with you, and I think you kind of dismissed, you know, we've had to enforce temporary structures and have them be taken down. I mean, I know that that's something we've had to do before. I can't cite them, but I can tell you that I know that we found like housing camps in like the private properties, you know, where like maybe some homeless people were living in, that type of thing. So we have to go in and address that. I think that was the concern of opening that door. I would just suggest to you guys, I know it's an important part of what you guys want to get done. I think in that directors meeting includes, you know, speaking for the mayor, but me part of that discussion, you know, really if it was resolved to get a permanent structure, you guys would be probably better sure trying to get that done.
Okay.
To be quite honest with you. I think we want to resolve it too. I think we want that for you too. So I think that would be my suggestion.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Would that be something that we would do at the December 17th meeting?
No, that would be something, my suggestion would be reach out to Mayor again.
Well, I don't think the city's going to pay for
Yeah,
that.
we're not going to get right.
I understand. So I think that if you had a plan, put a permanent structure on there, then that's when you see date.
Right.
And then you can take the date to see, here's the plan to put a permanent structure on, or on the pad, if you want to have a plan to do that. I think that really puts them in a position where they can now accommodate your wishes and what you think would be nice down there. So I think that would probably be the best bet at this point.
In the meantime, while permanent structure is.
Not my decision.
Well, I understand. I'm just asking, while a process like that gets started and begins in motion, probably not uncommon to have a temporary structure of that kind put up in the meantime, just to handle the
I
process.
think no other record spoke, honestly. I think that
If you wanted a true answer, I would say no. But it's not, again, it wasn't my call to let you do it.
I understand.
It's not my call to basically, let's go out there. My answer would be no.
Okay, all right.
So basically what you're saying is if by chance we do a crowdfunding thing and come up with $10,000, we can have a structure put up there for shelter.
if you go through the building.
No, if you go through the proper channels, through the city, through blueprints, zoning, whatever you guys know more about.
Yeah, I can't speak for council. I could imagine, I know them all pretty well, if there was a way that it was affordable and safe and it made sense for the community to put something like that up over there. What they have to then do is decide their priorities and where the money comes from. If the money was from a crowdsourcing thing, I think what I'm telling you is to eliminate that burden on the taxpayers and makes it easier for them and the mayor to make that type of decision. But you got a process.
Oh, absolutely. But again, I mean.
But again, I can't speak for them, but I imagine they're all handling.
Well, again, we have all types of residents that use the dog park. Elderly, younger. There is no shelter there whatsoever. None. Rain, snow, wind, lightning. I mean, you've allocated money to other parks for shelter. And that people, like, there's a shelter in the back of it, by the soccer field. The people, do they use it, right? Is it used?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Right. Again, we are people here that use it. I'm a taxpaying resident.
Can I add something to your conversation, just so we're clear? The property belongs to CEI, so your first step is gonna be CEI. It's not gonna, the power lines that go over there, they may not allow you to erect anything within a certain distance of the wires, which is what we've run into with the soccer fields. We've had that. So your very first step is gonna be CEI. And then bear in mind as well, city parks close at dusk. So that's, I know you mentioned that you're there late into the evening. But that's something to keep in mind.
These days, now, it's a little more difficult, time change.
Just something to keep in mind.
Appreciate it.
Council?
Mr. Claire, I just got a question temporary, so, you know, they're talking about the temporary, right? If something were to happen like that, was to blow or somebody was to get injured, that's falling on us, correct? Since we lease the property for that reason.
I don't know what the lease term looks like, but let's assume it was his property. I think we have to maintain those structures, and we have to rebuild those structures for the office.
Right.
We would likely have sovereign immunity. I can't imagine what the injury was, but if it was serious injury, that puts it out of the lawsuit. But the answer to your question is, truthfully, we probably have immunity, but again, we both don't want it to somebody occur. That's why we do it.
So if somebody fell off of one of the dogs, ran their child, is that any different? Presumably, your point is if anything happens on the property. Anything is hurt for any reason, then you put it there.
I was just addressing what you were saying, keeping something up temporarily that yet isn't approved by us, yet land is kind of in question here as far as the lease and things like that. I was just wondering where our liability is.
Luckily, we made it through a few minutes farmers with it so far. No problem. Very, very solid.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Is there anyone else who wishes to address council? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation proposed. Clerk, please read legislation number 11-26-2.
A resolution certifying that there are unpaid bills owed to the CFE site and authorizing and directing the state auditor to place these bills on the tax certificate for collection payment and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings of the vehicle?
Yeah.
Will clerk please call the roll?
Huh? Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Second? Will clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-26-02?
An ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of Eastland, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings of readings in full?
So moved.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion carried, the legislation is adopted. Legislation 11-26-03 for full tonight's proceedings. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-26-04?
An ordinance amending chapter 155, employment provisions and compensation of the codified ordinances of the city of Eastlake to read as such and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Move to adopt. Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan? Yes. Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-26-05?
An ordinance amending section 121.04, business development coordinator of the codified ordinances of the state of Eastlake, Ohio, to read as such and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Move to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-26-06?
An ordinance amending section 770.11, operational requirements for marijuana dispensaries of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake, Ohio, to read as such and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules and have separate readings and read equal?
So moved.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Fellon? Yes. Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
I move to adopt.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Fellon? Yes. Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried, legislation is adopted. Now move on to our administrative reports. Our first report is from our fire chief, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things. So obviously, we had a snow event a few days ago that created some interesting dilemmas for a lot of communities, and we were not exempt from that. So a couple of things that come out of these things like pass along to you guys. So sometimes it's warranted, you have to shut down roads, maybe divert traffic, and that creates a lot of issues for some people, and it's actually getting very hostile. The encounters we're having now have become more aggressive from people. I just want to assure that we have a layered plan. So, we versus in the fire department, in about a 19-hour window, did over 120 calls. We're very busy. The layers are, we get PD involved, we need them to get involved, but they're running calls. And the service is out, too. So we really try to keep those layers very specific until we don't. So we close a road, usually the fire department people try to do that. There's thought put into it. Most certainly, safety is number one priority. So I'm not sure if you guys get feedback from people. The feedback that I get on seeing is, again, they're mad. They're very, when it's front you, they want to be confrontational. Most certainly, I tell the fire department personnel to avoid that. But when they approach me and then they go get their guard dog, approach my car like they want to intimidate me, I want everybody to know it's a very thoughtful process. We just don't want to do that. So we get feedback on that. And we have another storm brewing in the next few days. So we find ourselves probably in the same position. So if you ever get any questions about things you want to, ask us, I think that I'm not speaking for the chief or I'm not speaking for Kevin. There's a lot of thought goes into these road closures. It's not something we take lightly either. We try to sure that common. I wish everybody had a Thanksgiving and deep frying turkeys because they're dry and hopefully they were dry. I'll need such a kind of family support. Other than
Any questions for the chief? Okay, thank you, chief. Move on to our police chief, Michael Warren.
Mr. President, I did get some grants submitted for body worn vehicles. The requested funding amount is right around $174,000. I do not have a time frame on when we will hear about that. It is submitted. Hiring wise, we, December should be up to where we were previously, and I'm hoping by mid-January to have 3 more from our investment process, and that should put us at our budgeted amount. That's a lot of people that can be fine. We have one that's retiring in July, and I'm hoping to possibly get his replacement taken care of also. And that, I'm open for questions.
Any questions for the chief? I do have one, chief. What is your reports for top self-improvement or all that this year?
We're doing the shop at the top with the kids, and our big grant group also does the community Christmas, where we collect toys, monetary donations.
Is that coming up or starting soon?
It's already started for the community Christmas. There's a donation bin in the TV lab.
Very good.
And we have that on our Facebook page also.
Very good. Thank you, chief. Any questions? Ms. Schmidt?
So I know you really want the cameras and they're very important. What's the process if you don't get the
there other grants available, or I'm just curious to ensure that you guys really.
The next grant funding opportunity would be in May, the GAGBER grant, but that is not camera specific. The body camera specific grant comes around once a year.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Move on to our chief building official statement.
I really don't have much, I just was in on the turkeys, hopefully no one cooks any of them in tents. Other than that, happy holiday.
Are there any questions for Mr. Mann? All right. Thank you, Mr. Mann. We'll move on to our service director, Kevin Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, as Chief mentioned, we had quite a bit of a large storm Thursday. As always, it hits at the worst time it can hit, right at rush hour. So something to keep in mind when that happens and our guys get called in, by the time they get here, get trucks loaded up and get out of traffic, they're in the same traffic. So it happens to be a rush hour thing and you're getting complaints due to it. A lot of times that's why they're stuck in the same traffic that you're stuck in. So it makes it very difficult to get ahead of. So with that being said, we obviously had a lot of storm damage as well. There were some concerns as to why we were not out picking them up. Just to clarify, the Republic Waste contract goes through the end of December, and with the shortened week and the expected 5 consecutive days of snow coming, for us to tear down our trucks and take them all apart to pick up yard waste or storm damage would be counterproductive to the storm that is possibly coming, and then you would be listening to the complaints about why the roads aren't clear. So I had to make a decision. That's the decision I made, and that's the reason I was made. So hopefully everybody understands that. I did drive through most of the city today, and if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 90% of it, the residents did follow the Republic guidelines, and most of it is all on. There are a few here and there that aren't yet, but hopefully they will be. But that concludes my report. I'm open for questions.
Any questions from the service director? Thank you, Mr. Costello. Mr. Schmidt, sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're talking today.
Yes, that was the question. Are we required to pick up extra storm damage?
Are we required?
Are you required, is your department required to pick up extra storm damage? Or is it a courtesy?
It's a courtesy, basically. The public, yard waste, storm damage, usually the mayor will make the decision. And whatever he decides we do.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Mr. Costello, could you get a chance to explain that to me rather than, because I know how that gets blasted out on social media and really trashing the city, honestly, through social media. But that seems like a very reasonable response that you're sharing with us tonight. Did you get a chance to share that with anyone?
I got a chance to share that with about 5 good phone calls, yes.
Okay, well, yeah, because the folks that respond on social media apparently did not, they were not on that list. So. Anyway, thank you.
Any other questions?
I just, as a comment that, you explained it really, really well, and it was really well received after that. Once people understood it,
Good.
they handled it well. Yeah, it was a good thing.
All right. Thank you, service director. We'll move on to our city engineer, Brian Wiltshire.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Galleria project is complete. We have contractor's videos, so we're reviewing those to make sure that there's no minor issues that we need to go back and just do spot repairs. But the primary work is done, so now we're just being touched every day. Vine Street Water Main project is still moving along. Expect that to be wrapped up end of the year. If weather holds out, that should keep things moving along. And then I know there's been a lot of, well, at least from my perspective, talks with ODOT, the traffic on Route 91, both north and traffic engineer is reviewing signal timing and seeing what they can do, to help adjust signals, to get through that. So they're looking at some possibilities right now. They've asked some input, we provided input, they're taking that into consideration and hopefully get things, moving a little bit faster here in the next couple of weeks. With that, we'll move to questions.
You want to talk about the grant, or you want to talk about it?
I mean, one of the options, they're detouring the trucks from the eastbound exit ramp to the trucks with that exit at Vine Street. One of the options is completely closing the exit ramp and diverting everybody over to Vine Street or getting out early at 3 o'clock. We've expressed concerns on a variety of fronts, but by closing that ramp, you would add only about 90-second cycle times for north and south, which would then help clear all the way down to Beaver Avenue and all the way back to Buckingham. But it would mean closing that ramp.
Right.
Now, they're aware that closing that ramp come springtime, will put all that traffic where they're about to be paved in the spring. So, again, we voiced our concerns. They got their engineers working on it.
Very good. So far. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our finance director, Carolyn Shadell.
Thank you. We're just busy closing out the current year, trying to get around and seeing where we stand with the budget and beginning the preparations for the next budget. I'm open for questions and what you think.
Any questions for Ms. Shadell? Seeing none, we'll move on to our law director, Randy Kleiner.
I had, Caroline and I had a meeting today with the representatives from Timberlake Group. I'd like to say delinquency, because that's how aggressive it is, some of the county that we have to clear up. We also going to have a contract expiring with Timberlake in 2029. This is a good, perfect time to just revise that early, consider we amended some of our rates, so we can add that part of the discussion. The most important part is they agree to the principal because $100,000, that Caroline agreed, convinced them. To agree to this will be $100,000 while we continue to pay for the remainder of that. So that's the progress we just got to kind of walk through the document and type management follow through. I'm going to get you or at least follow up with this in spark of any new brands CRA legislation because I know Casey probably have that. And we had an inquiry about some ADA questions when we improved along Vine Street, whether we had a little rumble strip to the sidewalk. It seems as though that the Department of Transportation representative agrees with us that we didn't need to make that improvement because we're not getting. They did ask about the ADA transitional plan, which is a massive plan for us to evaluate our facilities, decide a timeline to improve them. I'm trying to work around that because I think the liability code requires us to essentially do that on an improvement anyway. I'm trying to streamline as best as I can, but if I can't do that, sooner or later, so that I have to propose it back to you guys to review. It should be rather formal, but rather large, but other than that, I'm going.
Any questions for Mark? I see none. In the executive session schedule, as a target, getting all the resumes out to everyone for the planning commission. There's not a planning commission meeting scheduled until December 12th, correct?
Yeah, there should be one coming up.
The 12th. Yeah. So if you look at that out until the 10th, and if there's something on the agenda, it's going to be later than that. So give everyone time to review all the candidates. We take care of them. Anyone have anything else? All right, this meeting is adjourned at 7:51 p.m.